I'm joined by Kate Barnosky, the head women's basketball coach at Babson College. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Can you tell me about Babson College? I'm sort of familiar with it. It's a small school. You're outside of Boston. Can you tell me a little bit about your college?
Yeah, absolutely. So Babson is a small school located outside of Boston, so good research there. But we are a business only school, so everyone is working towards a business degree. It's a really great academic institution. Actually, the most recent Wall Street Journal rankings put us as the second best college in the United States. So a great ranking for us. Definitely a good recruiting sell for me as a coach. But it's a really special academic situation, and the students work incredibly hard in the classroom. But then I think what's really special about Babson is it's really competitive D3 athletics too. So from my perspective, my student athletes, they usually choose Babson because you can really truly excel in both academics and athletics, while also still getting involved in clubs and community service. You've got a great balance of everything.
That's awesome. I believe I was looking up Babson, but is Babson known for anything in particular?
Yeah, so the business piece
Yeah,
and
that's what I was
entrepreneur
reading about.
leadership
Yeah.
is a big one. And it's a really hands-on curriculum. There's a lot of really cool things that the students get to do. The most noteworthy to me is in their
Mhm.
freshman year, they all take this class. It's called FME,
Okay.
and they're put into small groups and they literally start a business. And they go through every step of it, and even create the product, sell it. So it's a really cool experience and kind of
Mhm.
thrown into the fire right away. And you learn a lot as a student.
Yeah, doing my research, yeah, I thought it was your school's known for business, but I didn't want to be wrong. But
No,
yeah, I
you're
also
correct.
know a little bit about Babson because I believe someone who I follow or watch his videos on YouTube went to Babson, and my sister lives in Boston, so I'm familiar with some of
Oh,
the
that's
schools
awesome.
around Boston. So yeah, your team begins their season about 2.5 weeks. Tell me how your team looks going into the upcoming season. Like, how does your roster look? Any notable players on your team this season? And
Yeah.
just you as coach, what are you looking forward to most, this upcoming season?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited for this season. It's my second year here as the head coach. And this year already has been so much smoother. I think, when you take over a program, there's lots of transition things that you have to go through and,
Mhm.
teaching drills from the bottom up. When you're taking over, you don't have upperclassmen that know your expectations and your drills. So literally last year, everyone in the gym was learning, and they did a fantastic job last year. The girls were super welcoming and open to change, and they really learned quick. But year two has been a lot smoother in that, they already know my expectations, and they're able to, help the freshmen come along that much quicker because they already have a good understanding of what we're trying to accomplish here. I think we've got a great roster this year. We returned 11 players from last year,
Nice.
some with some great experience. Caitlin Malka is coming back. She was our leading returning scorer, really great three-point shooter. Camilla Silk played a ton of minutes for us last year. She's our starting center. And I think the two of them have just gotten better and better this offseason. And then I definitely want to just give a shout out to my entire senior class. So there's three more to them, and they've all really stepped up tremendously as basketball players, but even more so as leaders. So they've really set the tone, and it's been just tremendous to see them grow up and really care so much about this program and where we're going in their senior year.
Hmm.
And then we've got six new players, so it's a really good mix of lots of returners with 11 of them, but then six new players. So five freshmen and then one grad transfer. So it's a lot of still teaching them and bringing them along, but I'm really happy with where we're at so far.
Yeah. So I interviewed Annie Barrett. She's an assistant coach at NYU.
Yeah.
They won the Division III national championship, so that was pretty cool to talk with Annie a few
Hmm.
months ago after they won the Division III national championship. And your team is going to begin their season at the Scholars Classic, and your second game is going to be against NYU. I believe it's in New York, so I believe you're playing at NYU. So
Hmm.
for your team, what will it be like for your team to play against NYU, the defending Division III national champions in your second game of the season? How will that
Yeah.
be for your team, and what do you hope your team learns and gets out of it? Playing the defending national champions in the second game of the season.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a huge challenge for us, but one that we obviously welcome. When they reached out and were asking if we wanted to come play, I wrote back as fast as I could because I knew it would be a great challenge for us.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing to lose. You know, they went undefeated last year. They won the national championship.
Yeah.
So we're the pure underdogs. And I think that's a fun place to be in. And me as a coach and 100% my players, they really thrive in challenges. And they want them. And I think it's a good goal to chase. So I think there's like no pressure going into the game. Let's just compete as hard as we can and play our best. And then it will help us to know exactly where we're at, how we stack up against the best of the best.
Yeah.
So really excited for that. And then additionally, I've got a good amount of players from New York, Connecticut, New Jersey area
Yeah.
that I think will be a great trip for them to have a lot of their family and friends in the stands cheering them on.
Yeah. Having friends and family, and you're from Long Island. I know this is more
Mhm.
about, your players, not this game's not about you, but do you have any friends or family? And, being from New York, playing at NYU, what will this mean for you, just playing in New York, being from Long
Yeah.
Island?
Yeah, I'm excited too. I definitely will have, family and friends in the stands as well. For me, like you said, it is way more about the players, and I'm really excited for them to be able to have a lot of their family and friends. But it'll be special for me too. It's my first time coaching in New York as a head coach, so
Okay.
that will be fun. And lots of my high school friends probably will come out, and for sure my family. So looking forward to that as well. But more than anything, I'm excited for the challenge. I love a challenge. Let's see how we rise to the occasion, and we'll learn from it and grow from it.
Yeah. So coach, let's talk about last season. Your team made it to the final of the NEWMAC tournament. You upset Springfield in the semifinals, and then, obviously the goal is to win, but unfortunately, lost in the final to Smith. But just overall, recapping last season, what was it like for your team, to make it to the final of the conference, tournament?
Yeah, it was a really fun and special experience. I think last year we just got better and better as the year went on. And it was really great to see the girls just stick to the process and stick to just, being committed to getting better each day. But then it was great to see it pay off. We had a great run in the playoffs, won a bunch of games on the road. So we were the number 5 seed going into the playoffs. We went and beat Coast Guard on the road and then upset Springfield at their place, which was a really, really fun game. I feel like we had been in similar moments earlier in the year where it was a close game. And in those earlier moments, it maybe didn't result in the win in the end. So it was really, I was really proud of the girls and seeing them in the huddles down the stretch. Like every person on that roster knew we were going to win. Like they just had this confidence and determination about them that got us to the championship game. And we wanted to obviously beat Smith. That was our goal. And we were, after we beat Springfield, we were not satisfied with just getting to the championship game.
Yeah.
But Smith is a tremendous team. They had a ton of talent last year and are super well coached. So unfortunately, they got the best of us, but was just really proud of our team of how far we came throughout the season and stayed, committed to just getting better.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on it, but you beat Coast Guard in the quarterfinal, on the road, and then you upset Springfield on the road in overtime. So what was it like? Obviously your team, got to the final, lost, but still, what was it like for your team to win, 2 road games in the conference tournament and then
Yeah,
upset, Springfield in an overtime game?
I think it was a huge confidence boost for us all. I think they just, like I said, they had this determination about them going into playoffs. Like, okay, we're in the number 5 seed. That means nothing. Our goal is to win this championship. And I think everyone just accepted whatever role that was necessary in each game. And each game was really different as far as who stepped up and what we needed from each individual player. But I think all individual goals were completely to the side, and we had one common goal. It was just to survive and advance and keep playing another day. And so
Yeah,
it was a really great experience. And I think it was a great experience leading into this season. We'll take a lot of momentum and lessons learned from the end of last season. And of course, the goal is to win that championship and to keep advancing. But I think we learned a lot about ourselves and how we
yeah,
can really come together to achieve that common goal.
yeah, coach. Let's talk about your assistant coach. You hired Kaylin Reen in
Mhm.
August. So tell me about, Kaylin being your assistant coach. What was it like to hire her in August? And then I believe Julie Pritchett is now the head women's basketball coach at Brandeis University. So how happy are you for Julie being named the head women's basketball coach at Brandeis University?
Yeah, yeah, Kaylin's been great so far. She's been a tremendous addition. She's got a great energy about her. She's very hardworking, very driven, and she's a complete team player. So she is willing and wants to do whatever she can to help the success of this program and to help our players. And she's in, the 2 months that she's been here, she's done a ton. And so really great for her, and excited to see her just continue to get better as a coach as well. But we actually had a recruit here yesterday, and the mom was asking us like, how long have you guys been working together? And could not believe that it's only been 2 months. I feel like we have gelled really well together, and she's just been a tremendous support. So very happy with that hire. And then I'm so happy for Julie. I knew she wanted to be a head coach again. She's got a ton of experience and she's a great coach, super knowledgeable. So was really happy when she was given the Brandeis head coach job. And it's nice too that she's just a couple towns over from us. So we still stay in touch, and we'll actually play them this year. So that will be a fun game, but really happy for her and extremely well-deserved opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's really they'll definitely be very fun. So this is now your second season as head coach at Babson. What did you learn, most, or what did you enjoy most in your first season at Babson? Yeah, you'll take, now into your second season that begins in about 2 weeks.
Yeah. I learned patience. I'm a perfectionist and I want
Okay.
to succeed so badly, but it takes time.
Yeah.
And so I had to be patient with the process, and really stick to just getting better each day and not being concerned about the outcomes. I think we shifted our mindset as a whole team last year of really just looking at the process, and are we getting better every single day in practice? And then once we did that, the outcomes actually started to take care of themselves towards the end of our season. So that's definitely something going into this year, just trying to be patient with it. Of course, I have high expectations for my players and for myself and where I want us to go, but be patient with the growth. It just needs to be incremental growth each day. So that's a big thing I learned. And then I think the other thing is just going into the second year, I know my players so much more than I did last year. Just as people, how can I coach each individual kid the best? They're all different people and have different personalities and different motivations. So I think that's a huge advantage that going into this year, like I just feel so much more comfortable with them. It's something that just takes time. I tried to get to know them as fast as I could last year. I'm definitely a people person, and felt like I developed good relationships with them. But this year, I just feel so much more confident and comfortable with them, knowing exactly, okay, this kid needs to be coached like this. This kid needs this, and so that's a great advantage I have going into my second year.
Yeah. Well, I think you should be proud, that you made it to the final of the conference tournament last year in your first season. So
No, thank you.
congrats on that. I want to get into your start in basketball. You grew up on Long Island. So can you tell me about growing up on Long Island? How you got started playing basketball? And can you
Yeah.
tell me about some of your early, memories growing up playing basketball, like how you got started and, just, some early memories playing basketball growing up?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So I have three siblings and I'm the third of four.
Okay.
And my parents and my siblings were definitely a sports obsessed type of family. We're always on the move. I think from an extremely early age, I loved basketball. I loved all sports, but basketball was always my thing. I always took it extremely serious. Even as early as like third grade, I was determined to be the best I could, and spent many hours in the driveway, especially with my younger brother. He's just one grade below me. So we were out there pretending that we were John Stark. So we were working on our crossover fadeaway, just like MJ had, counting down, end of game situations. And so basketball is always such a fun thing for me. And I've got so many great memories. But I truly think, having siblings definitely shaped me to the competitor that I was. You learn to be a team player within your family. And then, that absolutely translates to how you are as an athlete and as a coach as well.
Yeah. Then after growing up in Long Island, you attended Tufts and, played college basketball there. So what was it like for you? What drew you to Tufts, going from Long Island to Massachusetts for college? What drew you to Tufts and, how was your experience, playing college basketball at Tufts?
Yeah, I was drawn to Tufts because it was a great combination of high academics and
Mhm.
really competitive athletics. I really liked Coach Perubi, who was the head coach in the recruiting process. She had played at UConn and actually was a part of their first ever national championship. team, and I could tell how driven she was as a coach, and she has a big vision for the program. And then I just loved everyone I met, my now future teammates. But when I was on my visit, it was just great people around. But more than anything, it was just a combination to get a great degree and also still compete at really high level athletically. And it ended up being just that, and then a lot more. I loved my experience there. Stayed there for 10 years because I played for 5 and then coached for 5. So
Okay.
it was a great experience. Tufts is definitely a really special place for me. But now that I get to coach against them, for sure want to beat Tufts each year.
Yeah.
But really thankful for my time there. I grew up a lot as a player, but more than that, as a person. Coach definitely pushed me to get outside of my shell, to talk more, to be more direct about things, and to be more confident. I think you see a lot of that on the court and off the court. So really grateful for my time as a jumbo.
Yeah. And coach, doing my research, you became a college coach very soon after graduating, and playing at Tufts. So what drew you to become a college coach, after playing at Tufts? And how special was it to be an assistant coach at Tufts, your alma mater, and have success there at Tufts?
Yeah. So pretty early on in my college career, Coach Ruby was in my ear that I was going to be a college coach one day, and
Okay.
I was denying it, denying it, denying it.
Mhm.
But then my junior year, I had a knee injury, and I ended up sitting out the whole year. I was actually a team captain that year, and I think
Okay.
naturally I was always more lead by example type, the person that's always going to go the extra mile on the court, and be there for my teammates, but I wasn't as much the vocal leader. And so all of a sudden I was in a really uncomfortable situation where I had to still try to contribute to the team, but on the sidelines, I couldn't do anything on the court. And I think that year really showed me what coaching could be and how you can still have such a great impact on the team and on the game from the sideline. So once I graduated, I ended up deciding to play my 5th year, started my master's program, finished out my eligibility. And then after that, I was like, wait, can I stick around? And so I finished up my master's, was the grad assistant coach, and then
Mhm.
really just loved it. And I knew that I felt like at the time I wouldn't be getting a better experience anywhere else. The program meant a lot to me, and it was really cool to see the program just go to another level while I was there. Um, when as a coach, we went to 4 straight Final Fours and played in 2 national championship games. So it was a whole nother level from even just 5 years before when I was a player myself. So it was really cool to see, just where coach had taken it, and love sticking around and continuing to learn from her.
Mhm. So coach, you've coached at the Division 1 level at Boston University and Wisconsin. You were an assistant coach under Marissa Mosley, who coached, on, our Gino Ariema's staff at UConn. So she has a lot of, great experience. But what did you learn most from coaching, at Division 1 level, at Boston University in Wisconsin? What was it like, being an assistant under, Marissa Mosley, obviously, who gained, a lot of experience, being on, Gino Ariema's staff?
Yeah. I think coaching at the Division 1 level, you just have more opportunities to be in the gym. You have more time that you can work with your players out of season, which is a great opportunity to develop as an assistant coach because now I'm leading a lot more of the out of season workouts. Whereas Division 3, we're not able to do those out of season workouts. We also traveled a ton more for recruiting, and that was a really great experience for me as a coach to learn new parts of the country and meet new coaches, see how basketball's played in the Midwest versus in Texas, and things like that we didn't necessarily have the recruiting budget to do at Tufts. So I think I learned a ton. It was a really, really great experience being a Division 1 assistant for my career development. Working specifically for Marissa, I think the biggest things I learned were an attention to details. It goes a really far way. As little as which foot we pivot on matters, and can, cut down your turnovers. So she's really detail oriented, and I think that all adds up. And then I think the biggest thing, and I think Coach Bruby was the exact same way, so maybe this is the UConn way, but just never being satisfied. You can always get better.
Mhm.
You've never reached your ceiling. Like there, you can always improve as a player, as a person. And I think, she demands her players to just continue to get better and better, never be satisfied. That's definitely something I've taken with me.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you followed Marissa from, Boston University to Wisconsin. Um,
Correct.
were you very you're very set like when Marissa got hired at Wisconsin, were you, very set on going to Wisconsin and, being her assistant, or were you very, hesitant, leaving Boston because you've coached at Boston in Boston while, at Tufts and Boston. So, were you very set or were you a little unsure of, going from Boston to Wisconsin and, being assistant coach there?
Yeah, I was a little unsure. I knew
Okay.
that it was a great career opportunity to go coach in the
Mhm.
Big Ten against some of the best coaches, like future Hall of Fame type coaches, and some of the best players. I knew it was a great career opportunity. I also knew that I absolutely adore Marissa and that she was helping me to become such a better coach. I knew that I had a lot left to learn from her. So those things, were very much pointing me towards this is the right decision. But I definitely thought it through, and Boston is my comfort zone for sure after living there for a while. And I'm a huge family and friend person, so it was definitely something I thought through of, what's it going to feel like to be a plane ride away and out in the Midwest and have limited free time to see my family and friends that I love. But it ended up being a great decision, and it did completely push me out of my comfort zone to move to an entirely new city and get an entirely new experience as a coach, as far as the level and the resources and all those things. So it was a really great experience in the end, and it's something I tell my players about. Like sometimes getting out of your comfort zone, as uncomfortable as it is, it really can pay off in the end.
Yeah. So my next question, it's not a knack on Division III basketball or Babson. I'm just, curious about this.
Mhm.
Most coaches, they'll start, coaching wherever they can get a job, or maybe their alma mater, then they'll work their way up, and then they get at Division I level. Their goal is to hopefully, stay at the Division I level because,
Mhm.
they have a lot of resources and things like that. And, Division I positions, are oftentimes coveted. But for you, you went from Division I, coaching at Boston University and Wisconsin to now you're at the Division III level coaching at Babson. So this is nothing against, Babson or Division III,
Mhm.
but I'm just interested to know, what drew you back, to Boston, where you've coached before and you went to school in Boston, to become the head women's coach at Babson, after 2 seasons at Wisconsin. So kind of, what drew you to, coach at Division III at Babson, after coaching at the Division I level for a few years?
Yeah, definitely. I think I was a Division 3 student athlete, so
Mhm.
the goal kind of was always to get back to Division 3. I love Division 3. I just think it's such a great balance of life and the things that you're trying to achieve as a student athlete. Like I said earlier, like my players are really excelling in the classroom. They're really excelling on the court, and they're also excelling on campus. So I think it's a really special combination. My Division 1 experience, I'm so happy I experienced it. It made me better, and I learned so much as a coach. But Division 3 is really more me. I love just the model of Division 3 athletics. So it was always the goal to get back to a really high academic institution with competitive Division 3 athletics. So when this job opened up, I went right after it. Babson's just such a perfect place for me, and I'm so fortunate and grateful to be here. It's just we've got great support. And then the best thing is we've got great people. I'm surrounded by really veteran coaches that are just great people and have helped me so much in my first year here. And it's just a really great place to be. So I think we can do some really special things here. And the level doesn't matter to me. But I do love just how balanced my kids' lives are. Um, the world of college athletics right now with the NIL and the transfer portal. I think the level or the love that my players have for the game is so high and so pure here. They're not worried about how much they're getting paid, and I'm all for student athletes getting paid. I think they that's a great thing, but here it's just simpler. They just come in, they love it, and they enjoy their couple hours together, and we compete, and then they go and they experience so many other things. So I just think it's a really great combination of everything here.
Yeah, I really like what you said that, coaching at the Division III level is your goal. I've, interviewed a lot of coaches and most of them say that, coaching at these high-end schools or, Division I levels usually their goal. That's great that, you like coaching at, Division III um where you went to school.
Mhm.
So finally, coach, I always end on this question. For you, what do you enjoy most about being a college coach?
Yeah, I think my favorite thing is the growth that you get to see and your student athletes. So it's so cool that we get to recruit young women, in high school, 16, 17, 18 years old, and then to see them develop as basketball players, but as people. That just is warms my heart. I think it's one of the coolest things about sports, and it just makes you a better person. I was just meeting with a player before. We are talking about, growing confidence and just walking into rooms and a more confident headspace. And I think that's my favorite thing. I mean, I love winning and I love X's and O's, and I could talk basketball for days. But I think overall, the best thing about being a coach is seeing and maybe even having a small role in that growth of your players.